How you doing? This is Real and Raw, and I am Lynn, and you are. Hi. Hi. What?
I'm Brian.
Hi, Brian. I'm at my daughter's house again. I had a little time with the little baker man last day before he turns the big number 1 tomorrow.
Cool.
Yeah, I can't believe a year ago she was having him, and as she was getting dismissed from the hospital, they said everything's closed. Get to your homes. What a year it's been.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, I'm here chilling out. Not the greatest lighting, but hey, I'm here, right? That's all that matters.
All you can do is all you can do.
That's right. That's right. So we've had a really good week this week. I'm pretty excited. Today is going to be a good topic, and then tomorrow is going to be the fun day of Friday.
Does she have any idea? I've never met her personally, but our guest co-host, does she have any idea? Like, or has she been watching this week to know what we're up to?
She's been pretty busy this week.
Okay.
I mean, she's very, very busy.
Okay.
So she's really going to be like, she's going to show up. And
well, we'll test her improv skills. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, right.
If she's not aware of what improv is or whatever, she'll find out, I guess.
I don't know, but we'll see what she thinks about improv tomorrow.
No, it's not a matter of what she thinks about it. It's a matter of the discipline. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Regardless of how you think of improv is improv.
Yeah. So we'll see.
I don't like improv. Okay, well.
Well, I'm excited that we're going to have Charles next week.
Oh yeah.
That will be very, very.
I'm really
very
curious
good.
to find out if we're ever able to go back, behind the scenes with, what are those golden nugget songs in Charles' life? That'd be great to do that, because I'm sure he's got some freaking gems from his past. If we were ever able to bring those out, that'd be fantastic.
Well, I'm glad we talked yesterday about what we plan to do for this coming week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about that. So Jerry asked, so Brian, when are you ready to join the coaching industry?
I got to be honest with you, Jerry, is that I've had several people say that I should do it. I guess my mind just goes blank, and I'm not going to make any excuses or whatever. I would just probably have all those self-limiting beliefs and comparing myself to other people, which I know is not healthy. But I think that what my zone of genius is would probably be challenged, and, like Scott McCain always said to me, as far as getting my book out there, at least one of them, is that you can't control. One thing you're never going to be able to control is how people are going to interpret it or how they're going to feel about it. So great question. Maybe have a conversation offline about that.
Wrong,
but yes, I love the challenge, Jerry. And as you know from a previous video, that I really look up to you in terms of what you've done and where you go and why you do it. So if you'd be up for a conversation about that, I would definitely, I would definitely be honored by that. So.
I think you have. Yep, I think he does too. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'd be curious, though, Jerry, like from what because what people see in me is a blind spot, right? And so I'd be curious to see, Jerry, what do you see in me that would, number one, make me be ideal for that? Number two, what areas, you know what I mean? And it's not meant for me to toot my own horn. It's for me to really get grounded in what other people see, coming through. So if you could share that, yes.
Well, it's the thing that you have all this knowledge that you've taken in, Brian.
Right.
And so coming from a knowledge sense, it's like they say, ILT, invest, learn, and teach.
Right.
You have a lot of investment in yourself. So now teaching it should become, you learned it. Right. Now teaching is the next step. And that's what Jerry said also. Anytime, Brian, you just have to make the jump, and you may get bruised and battered. But that's how you get through the dream in life. Absolutely. Yeah. And so, no, I mean, like you have just invested so much in yourself. And just like you said, and I'm quoting this wrong, but you've said in the past too, that somebody said, you got all this knowledge going away, so to speak.
Yep.
So now it's the time for you to shine that way, you know?
Right.
You simply have to make your decision for your niche. This is my path. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
And Jerry, I mean, my path is pretty defined. It's all within the science of value, the science of distinction, everything that Jeffrey talks about, Scott talks about, Larry Levine. It's all within that emotional realm of value, right? And I've spent, I'm only 41 years old, but I spent literally over 20 years just really diving down deep in terms of what value is, the definition, what it looks like in the world. And I know that this day and age is that's all we hear about it, but I think it's very surface level to a lot of people. I don't think it really goes deep, or it's like a light switch where it's like, oh, I got to have value. No, it's a lifestyle. It's not a magic pill, so I think that's really where my zone of genius is within the entertainment planning, for weddings and corporate and stuff like that. And I do have to be honest is that, like Ken said, when I was on his broadcast and whatnot, that, writing a book and having a book out there as the ultimate business card is really enticing and whatnot. But then all of a sudden my mind goes blank in terms of, oh my God, how am I going to do that? So, and that's no excuse, but
I remember people looked at me when I started coaching business and say, you help people find their dream.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, he's got a good point as
absolutely.
far as, but no, Brian, the thing is that, I help people in relationships all the time, and I do all these other things as well. And I don't think I do a great job, but it's helped a lot of people. But the thing is when you're getting compliments, just like Jerry said, and it's true, you do first of all, you're a great listener, which you become a great listener and you're a great friend.
Thank you.
I mean, that's why I tell you so much stuff. I wouldn't tell you if I didn't think you were that. Right. I wouldn't tell you. And that's where a coach needs to start. They need to care for the person, and you're unequivocally that person. And so then listening to them, just about any situation they have, you have a starting point of where to help them from there. You meet them where they're at and take them where they want to go. You're already there. I mean, it's just something that you pull a trigger and do it. And first book is the hardest. And he goes, you're also a great sponge. Absolutely, he is. And I'm glad you're bringing this up, Jerry. Because
thank you, Jerry. I appreciate all your words. Thank you.
I compliment him all the time, and I'm trying to prep him up for that. But he's so conscientious about it that I'm glad it's just not his favorite big sister saying it. So I thank you for the reinforcement, because now I'm not going to be unlimited to the fact that you have great passion for helping people, especially. I mean, you're not just a wedding planner. You've become a friend with everyone that you've been involved in. You really are an amazing gem. And us talking today about the open road, all or nothing, you're an all or nothing kind of guy.
Right.
But even if you don't feel this is your zone of genius, the part is that there's that crack everyone's telling you that you are. And so you don't have to be all or nothing with it. Give yourself that permission to give a crack at it, and see where it goes, and I truly.
And when like how I learned, and I'm doing this in another mastermind, we just came up to 2 months out of a 3-month journey. And the only way that I learn is to immerse myself in it, like immersion. Right. And that's the only way I learn. If I'm going to learn something, it's like, let's double down on it for months or weeks or whatever. And that's what I do.
But
and
Brian,
so
you know all this stuff, brother dear, my sweet friend. It's now, like Jerry says, you should jump in the arena because you already have the knowledge. I would beat your ass if you said, but I got to study more how to be a coach or something, because you don't need any more of that. You just need to spew it out to somebody, and we're talking about, talk to people that are not your wedding clients, but anybody else. Talk to them and listen to them and see how you can help them. Test it out. Even before you started a course or anything like that, test it out with friends that want to talk, because that's what's going to give you the confidence and the idea of what you like and what you don't like.
Right.
So,
well, and I've coached a couple of people one-on-one, and because of the pandemic or whatever, they went away, right? The opportunities went away. but I also know that it's I'm not a cheerleader. Anybody that ever
you might need to be a little bit of a cheerleader at first, just to get to. I don't know why I'm going to say bobble. You can write that down, but I don't know.
How do we spell that, bobble?
Yeah. Okay, Jerry, I will. But bobble. But seriously, I'm talking about. Jerry, message me real quick on Facebook, would you? Jerry wants to come on board, so I'm gonna.
Sweet.
So yeah, but I'm saying you need to bobble with the idea of what it feels like, and come from there. It just. I'm waiting for Jerry here a second. Hold on.
Well, I'm just waiting to see our guest co-host's face when we bring up the word bobble to her in terms of context.
Right?
So that'll be...
Yeah, I know. All right. I just sent Jerry an invite. So bring me as a camera. I think that's what he said. So yeah, so I sent him the invite. We'll see.
Cool.
And but no, seriously, this is a great thing of all or nothing. All or nothing is that you should. I know you're a structured guy, but something like this is a great time to bring this up because Jerry, I love you. Welcome to our stage.
How y'all doing? Listen,
Good.
I'm gonna come on here. I'm gonna kick its butt a little bit, okay?
Please do.
I'm hearing a guy that's preaching, but he ain't taking his own medicine.
Right.
Okay?
He's excusing that up, isn't he?
I know. I mean, he's been watching, he's been doing all kinds of things, and I know what he's really good at, which is inspiring people. So, Brian, I'm gonna tell you, I came in there because it's like I'm not gonna keep typing this message in. It's time for somebody to kick your butt into gear. It's what you want to do. You've been sitting there. Here's the whole thing. Yeah, and I want you to remember this. You're never going to be Zig Ziglar. You're never going to be Jeffrey Gitomer. You don't want to be Jeffrey Gitomer. Let's get real, okay? You're not going to be Scott McCain. You're not going to have a magic voice. Listen to me. I talk with a Southern accent, man. I mean, I twist up words. I do it all the time. But the whole thing is, you got to jump. I mean, seriously, if it's what you want to do. How old are you right now, Brian?
41.
You're 41. So what, are you going to do it when you're 50, 55? Or are you going to do it when you're up against a wall like me? You got nowhere else to go. I mean, tell me what it is. Yeah. You got a niche there. You know the wedding industry. These people need to be coached, okay? And that's what you got to do. You can't coach the whole world. Most people, I see this. They come out of the gate and they're going to save the world, okay? Forget it. There's too many people out there doing it. You understand these people. You understand the challenges of being a wedding planner. I can only imagine what that's like in the last year. There, who's having weddings? Who's having funerals? I mean, you don't go to it. I attended a virtual funeral a while back, and you look at it. So, buddy, I'm going to ask you, what's stopping you?
Yeah. Well, Jerry, it's funny you say that, and then he's going to pick from here, is that when we started talking, I have 15 years dealing with brides and all that stuff and bridal and bachelorette. And he's like, why should I do a show with you? I was like, dude, I deal with relationship people all the time. You do too. And that's why we decided to do this show about being raw and real. And I just love the way he and I play on the camera because I let him shine with the passion he has. And that passion he's not listening to himself to realize that passion should be given to consulting and coaching people, especially the fact that I tell him, I said, do you just marry people just to marry them? Or do you care about if they should be married, And he says he does care if they should be married. So again, like you're saying, Jerry, like I've been slowly sprinkling to him, he has that niche of actually working with them, like pre-engagement and engagement process before the wedding date even comes. And he's been doing it. So now when he says, I don't know what I should do, it's like, listen to yourself and you would know.
Right. See, here's the problem, Ryan. You're sitting inside this comfort zone. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. And I see this all the time. It's like when I went through some of my coaching groups, let me give you an example. One of the guys that you respect highly is Jeffrey Gitomer, right? And I was in Jeffrey's first certification class back in 2011. I had just started in business. I mean, and money it wasn't running out of my ears. I didn't just randomly jump to do this. I mean, that was a pretty hefty investment. Yep. But at the same time, I go in there. Now, listen carefully. There's 97 people in this class, okay? And I never had met Jeffrey before this. Didn't know who he was for a couple months before that. But I decided that sales coaching was something that my people could use. So as we go into this class and people ask the stupidest question, let me give you an example. Jeffrey, can we wear a red shirt just like you do? And it's like, wait a minute. The man just told you got to develop your own brand. So I walked back there in the back room. I said, I got a question for you, man. And first time I said, how many people you think will ever make a dime out of what you're teaching right here, right now? Okay, look at the niche I work in, Brian. If you didn't know me months ago and you found out, here's a guy that coaches chimney sweeps, okay? Right. That's my niche, Brian. And it's like Kim Wall said the other day, I had no idea when he took my story in that interview the other day. And it's like all of a sudden, here it is. He's finding out all this stuff. But that's what you got to do, brother, because, see, I've been watching YouTube for quite a while. In fact, I sent a message to Lynn yesterday. It's like, what's this deal with the Tribune? What have you done into here? Tell me what's going on, right, Lynn? Because, have you landed this super gig or what's there? But see, Brian, I've watched you too long, and I have listened to you many days, many parts and pieces. And I know that deep down inside, you want to coach people. I know that deep down inside, you are very coachable and you will be very good at it. But what you got to do, and this is the hard thing, you got to get your butt out of that comfort zone. Yeah. You got to come out. Being on here every day and talking to people, that's great, Brian, but you can actually do this and help people, because I'll be honest with you. You want to know a conversation I had yesterday afternoon? One of the guys, do you look up to Scott McCain?
Absolutely. 100%.
Scott and I had a phone call yesterday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And during this call, I even asked him, it's like, tell me something, Scott. What do you think Brian Kelm, what's his goals here? I'm serious, man. Wow. He said, I think he really wants to coach. So my job here is, Brian, I'm going to kick your butt today. It's time to stick up. It's time to stand up. And you have the offer. You know how to reach me. Yeah. And if you want, where do you live at, Brian, exactly?
Wisconsin.
Okay. What part of Wisconsin?
Southern Wisconsin, right outside of Milwaukee and Madison.
Well, guess what? I have a client in Cedarburg, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And so what I'm going to do, I'll let you know I'm scheduled to be there in May. Okay. I'll let you know when I'm coming in. We can get together in person.
That's cool.
I come in the day before and I meet with the client the next day. We may just have coffee or something like that. But there's your offer. If you don't take it, all I know to do is, I don't know, I'm kicking your butt. It's time for you to stop, get off the pedestal, unless Brian's going to take the jump and go for it.
No, I'm so glad.
I hope I haven't offended you today, but I'm going to kick your butt.
No, I've been through theater school, and I faced a near-death experience. My dad passing away unexpectedly. This is all I need to hear, but I'm not offended in the least. I need to hear this stuff.
Okay. I want you to look at something, Brian. I want to talk to you so bad. You'll never see me just come online. Here I am with a T-shirt and a sweatshirt on. Lynn, anytime you see me online, I've got a dress shirt, and I'm in my studio. I'm not in my studio right now, Brian. Right. It's like I had to get this message to you right now, kick your butt in the gear. So you're in my office, look out in my backyard right now. That's where I'm at. But this was just the time. It's like, okay, he's gone on too long. It's time to kick its butt into reality. And Brian, I'm telling you, it's time to jump. And if you don't jump, you're going to look back one day and you're going to say, why didn't I listen to that guy when he talked to me on March 25th and told me it's time to jump?
I'm so glad you said this, because I always try. I think I do this, Jerry, but I play devil advocate with him on the show all the time. I'll just be like, try to do the opposite that he's talking about, just to get him going, and he gets going, you know, and it's just like, I'm like, listen to you, just listen to it. And then I just gotta laugh. I sit here and just laugh. I'm like, you know, he's just so humble and he's so modest. It's really the thing, you know, and with him, he has his Bloody Mary there. Is that your Bloody Mary?
Oh, that is V8 juice.
Just picking on you. Just picking on you. Hey, I'm actually going to be, I think in July, I'm driving through from Florida to New York, and I'm stopping and I'm seeing you, buddy.
Okay, you feel free. We'd love to see you. Okay. So Brian, you have had an uncharged coaching session in public today. Okay.
Thank you.
You got it. Now, I want to see you make something happen. Seriously, brother. I care for you. I know where you want to go. And you tell me what it takes to kick your butt into happening, and I'm here to do it for you, okay?
When you're in Wisconsin, I'll definitely meet up with you. I'll take you up on that. Yeah.
And Papa Jerry, I need some coaching later, so I'll be Marco Poloing you, okay?
You be Marco Polo, that's right. You know, sometimes I just don't see it over there, Lynn. So if it goes for a couple days, just be aware I'm not ignoring you. I got to roll my phone over like 3 pages to find that. It's like, I don't know why I got all these apps that I can't, I never use half these apps. It's loaded up. That's the way it is.
Jerry, I have one question for you. What inspired you, or what drew you to care so much about my development or follow me or whatever? I'm just curious.
Because here's the whole thing, Brian. I want you to understand why I coach, why I work with people. Number one, I'm old enough to pull Social Security. Understand this, okay? I don't. But, is the money great? Yes. Do I like what I do? Yes. Do I make a decent living? Yes. Okay. You heard Ken Walls talking to me about my house the other day when he interviewed me, and all of a sudden when he visited my house, I stepped up in his attitude tremendously. I got to interview you. All of a sudden, he never noticed I had 7 books until this point. But the whole thing is, this is where it's at, Brian. If I can help somebody reach their level of what they're looking for, of getting there, that's a trophy on my wall, if you understand what I'm saying. And there's another side to this, and I want you to understand the other side. If you remember right, what was one of the things that Zig Ziglar said? Zig Ziglar said that if you help enough people get what they want, they'll help you get what you want. So there's going to come times in your life that you're going to run into somebody that says, I know this guy in North Carolina that probably has written a book or something, can help you. You might want to contact him. And that's what this world's. Have you ever noticed you've never heard me say affiliate? You ever heard I've never said
It's a family joke right
there. We all know where that's at. I've also never told anybody that asked me a question. It's in the course, okay?
And we know Ken Wall doesn't sit here and watch our show, so we're safe.
Oh, we're good. We're so golden right now. Oh my goodness.
Brian, that's why you do this every day. You get on here, you're hoping to change the lives of others. And I think you have a unique ability to do that. I think you've got the right stuff. I think you've got the training. You've got the mentorship. It's kind of like when I went to John Maxwell and got my certification, John Maxwell. I'm in a room of 5,500 people, Brian, 5,500 people at Maxwell. And I go through the 3-day. And when I look around, it's like, how many of these people will ever take what they're doing? So many people get a coaching certification just like they get a real estate license. Women, what does that mean?
I have a couple coaching license.
Good.
Certificates.
Correct. So the keys, but how many of them take them and go? It's kind of like, I know too many people got in the real estate business and they thought it was going to be how many housewives in America have real estate license? Okay. It's a tough market.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what coaching is.
Yeah.
I see people that have coaching certifications and they're not doing crap with it.
Yeah.
They really don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So have you had your butt suitably kicked in the gear today?
Yeah. It's a little warm.
It's a little warm
and it's good. It's good.
So Jerry, would you pipe in on this whole? It was so apropos you coming in on our show today with the week of open road, all or nothing, 100% or nothing, action, completion, and destination. Now that came, I'm gonna put him on the table here, but Brian came up with that, right? He's an all or nothing guy. But can you tell him that there's nothing wrong with taking a little side jaunt and seeing how this goes without feeling he has to do all or nothing? Because he says, well, I have to like really be immersed in everything. He's been immersed in everything now. He's got to share it and spew it out to somebody. So this, his writing here shows the comfort zone he's in. Because he's all in for nothing. But have you like half-assed been into something which ended up being something better? I mean,
yeah, and that's what you do. I mean, you take it. It's like right now. One of the things you said was, "I'm gonna ask you this question: how long have you been intending to start writing a book?"
It's been a long time.
You ever heard Scott McKain's story about when he met Zig Ziglar?
Vaguely.
He was on the same stage as Zig, had never met him before, and all of a sudden he's meeting the immortal, and he walks in and he gets to know Zig. Okay, and you got to remember, we know this family pretty well because Cheryl's been my wife is certified by him. So he said that Zig asked him, well, Scott, when are you going to write your book? Mm-hmm. And Scott said, well, Mr. Ziegler, I just hadn't had time to put it together. And Zig said, well, Scott, I've never written a book. And Scott said, what are you talking about? You got a stack of books. He said, nah, man, all I did was I get up every morning and write 2 or 3 pages. And before I knew it, I had a book. Yeah. Okay. And that's what you got to do. It was like sitting down. My first book was Chaos to Reinvention. And I sat here, and did it take me months to get it down? You better believe it. My SOP book that I've got out that I gave away free this week, guess how long it took me to write that SOP book?
2 years.
6 months.
How about 4 hours?
Oh.
He's smacking us over here, Brian.
4 hours, Brian. I wrote that book on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah. And see, there's a process. And like I said, that's what I've taught. I will share with other people how you do this. I write the drafts. The problem I got, whenever I write like I talk, which is not how you write a book. So I write the draft, and I've got an editor that I send that to, and then the editor sends back the drafted copy. This is what every writer does. They don't write their books. You can transcribe a book. Okay. It's like all my podcasts, they're all transcribed. I send a recording to a transcriptionist, and the next day I've got the whole recording down. And I talk a lot. I do transcripts when I talk in a seminar, which I'm doing in a 4-hour seminar. I'm doing a series right now. In 4 hours, how many words do you think I speak, Brian, on an average?
I don't know.
How's 44,000?
Okay.
Do you pay extra for them to take your accent out?
No, that's the problem. Whenever you get the transcription, someone has to edit it back to common English, okay? Because the words don't come out right. So that's one of the things I have to do every week is the transcript comes back. I edit the transcript, but the same thing, get it down in the words. And then from that point, you just go forward from there, and you just keep working the projects, and you just get up every day and do it. And just think, Brian, how's it going to feel when you can sit in front of that thing and hold your book up and say, hey, I just want you to know that I've just published my first book. It is Brian's Words of Wisdom, and it's on Amazon. And see, a lot of people say the following: I'm a bestseller on Amazon. You want to know what it takes to be a bestseller on Amazon?
Right. Just have a book on Amazon.
No, to be rated as a bestseller, it's actually pretty easy. You have to sell a certain number of books in a certain time frame. And the most people, if you want to know one of the things, if you take a true best-selling author who's New York Times, like Larry Winget, and you tell him, well, I'm an Amazon bestseller, he's laughing at you. Actually, There's a marketing secret to do it. You just get 10 of your friends to order the book in 1 hour, and bam, you're a bestseller.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, we got that done. I'll buy a book from you, Brian. Get that shit done.
I know a guy that paid a lot of books for a company to make him a bestseller. He didn't know that. All they did, they ordered 10 books and charged him thousands of dollars. I'm serious.
Yeah.
So, Brian, I've talked too much. I'm going to back out of here now, but I don't want to hear no more of this crap. I want to hear you have jumped. I want to see your website built about Brian's coaching business, and I want you to go after your niche, which is wedding planners. It could be disc jockeys. It could be people in the wedding business and helping them face their challenges. I'm really serious because in the day, I can only imagine what the challenges are. But in wedding planning today, it's a completely different ballgame.
Yep.
You realize what he's saying, Brian. You should become a coach to the wedding planners. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're saying.
I can tell you there's a lot. I'll guarantee you there's more wedding planners in this country than there are chimney sweeps.
And I'm right behind Jerry on this because there's only one of you.
Right.
And you want to give the good name to the industry. Yep. The only way it's going to do is if you give your secrets and your level to those so that across the board you can feel other people.
Yeah.
You know.
Hang on, guys, I got to go. I got a call. Y'all be good.
All right, Jerry.
Talk with you later.
Okay, this is Jerry.
I'm gonna remove him.
That's awesome. Wow.
So no, seriously, it is what you should be doing. Is your passion. When I get you talking about this, and you're passionate about because this is the bottom line. A lot of wedding planners don't think the way you do.
No.
So now you should open that arena for others to be.
Well,
like Brian.
And that's the first time anybody's ever said that to me is that, and this is completely a blind spot. So I'm going to process this after the show and the rest of the day is that what you just said a minute ago, Lynn, is that you do realize you're meant to be coaching other wedding planners, right? Instead of coaching brides and grooms, which you can do too. You're meant to coach other wedding planners.
Your passion is, and it's because I always hear the emphasis to you. You're always saying, well, most wedding planners are cookie cutter or this or that, or they don't get it.
Right.
They don't get it because they don't have a Brian Kelm coaching them to get it.
Yeah.
So, and if you want your industry to be something that you're also proud of, instead of being, this doesn't sound right, but it comes out of my head this way. So I'm saying it.
Okay.
It's just like, you might think, and I'm only speaking for myself, but my perspective here is like, you might think, man, there's a lot of scumbucket wedding planners and I wish I could change it all. And if you've thought that because you've seen other people's experience, you're in the driver's seat to change that.
Right.
Change that in the industry that you do not like.
Right. Yeah.
And that's one way you can do it.
Well, the customer experience is very important to me, but the biggest part in that is what is in the customer's best interest.
Right.
That is and always will be at the top of my list.
And that's what you should be coaching and teaching on, period. That's what Jerry and I have been saying.
Okay.
So, that came from love for both
it's I've wavered upon the book and getting started because then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, it's a mental.
No excuses, no thinking all these other things.
Right.
You got to focus. That's what we teach everybody. You got to focus on what's hand and let the chips fall from there. They go, buddy. That's it. That's real. Because you started doing what everybody else does. Oh, but so I'm gonna keep you accountable for that too.
Well, and the awesome part about it is that besides formatting and the cover design and all that, the graphics and the content is already written for the first book.
Well, shit, you go on Canva and you can learn. You could go to Google and Canva.
Well, I've already got my designer. He already knows about this, and it's like there's 3 books there's content there for 3 books.
Okay. So I say by next month you're gonna have 1 book out, because Kindle upline thing, I can get you information on that to upline to Amazon on Kindle and reading books and publishing them, just like Joe Ingram did. I mean, that shit's easy. So you have a book done next month. It's going to be done.
Well,
So yeah,
one of the things that's always stayed with me ever since Jeffrey, imposed it upon me was like the ultimate business card, right? It's like, he's got his coin and stuff like that. But then when you up the ante, it's like, hey, how about a signed copy of my book? Or do you got a business card? You're in an exchange with somebody. It's like, no, but I got a signed book. Would you like one? Right? I mean, most people's minds are not going to be thinking about, here's a signed copy of my book for validity and credibility.
Listen, you're going to have your book outdone by next month.
Okay.
And I will point you in the right direction.
Okay.
It's done. It's done. Now I got to get my ass. I haven't written anything down to do my book, but I promise you that every day I'm going to do the couple, the rough edges of it, and I'm going to work on that.
The wild part about it was, and this, the wild part about this is that I don't know if it was Scott or somebody, but they're just like, Brian, they're like, why don't you have all this intellectual property that's already written, and you just did it every day or every other day? You just kept writing. You always got a notepad near you, and you put it into structure in terms of like what its topic is or whatever.
And Brian, the other thing you need to do is you need to just do another book this coming month of all the articles you've done.
Well,
you got to do that shit too.
Well,
so yeah, I mean, it's done. It's done. We'll get you on there.
Okay.
So yeah, but anyways, you see, this is all or nothing kind of thing.
Yes.
You get on the road, and Brian's going to get a little out of his comfort zone.
Yeah.
And that's what we all need to do to grow and to achieve and to be happy what we did. You can't do the same exercise every day because it doesn't work for your muscles. You got to try and work. That's why when I was bodybuilding, you do your legs, you do your arms different days, you rotate and you do cardio and things like that. And you've been in the muscle of writing. Now you need to just be in the muscle of publishing. He's got to be a badass. I think you're gonna have so much out, it's not even funny, which is going to inspire my ass to get going on some of my stuff too. But again, it's catapulting to the realization that you've been in your comfort zone. Even with the show, you've been in the comfort zone, you show up, and now you need to put your talk into action, which is just publishing the books now. And 100% or nothing. Let's not go at 100% or nothing. Let's go 100% in something.
Yeah. Right.
And something is that when I said, well, when you get all your stuff, you got the content, all a freaking book cover, and then you got a designer. Shit, you're with it. Dude, do you realize, let me tell you, and this is tips for anybody else. Do you realize just enough with what you have? If you need to go get an editor or whatever, you can go to Fiverr, you can go to one of these places and have them polish it up. They'll even make you a book cover binder, give it back to you, and then just send it to Amazon, just like that.
Wow.
Okay. You put a little bit of money into that.
Yeah.
That's it, dude. That's what they do. That's the secret of how people write books. They write their shit down. They get somebody to edit it, like he said. And then if you don't want to do the book cover, you can Fiverr somebody book cover. They'll put your design in book cover just right so that you yourself can admit it to Amazon's processing thing. And that's it. It's done. And then those books are published. They're published on demand. That's it. It's done. I mean, seriously, if you put your money where your mouth is right now, by the end of next week, your book can be out. That's how fast that can be. It takes 2 days for them to get you an ISBN number and to register it. Takes 2 days.
See, in full transparency, all of that stuff, that's my downfall because I don't want to look at it. And so I stay far away from it, thinking that it'll, but you're going to have to look at it anyway.
Bullshit. No, you just send it. You send it to Fiverr, somebody to edit it or whatever, or find an editor. You bring it back, and then you go to Fiverr and say, "This is my book, and this on many pages." They'll make the cover. They bring it back down to you. You upload it to Kindle, and that's it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then I could eventually teach you how to do all that other stuff too. But that's the gist of it. Truly, that's it. And then you just put it on your Grow Live, you put it here, you put it there, you put that Amazon link to your everywheres, and you start selling books. That is it.
Wow. Okay.
So.
Wow. Thanks everybody for tuning in. All of our loyal listeners and viewers, and anybody catching the replay. This kind, like what Jerry, mentioned about, coaching and ripping me up a little bit. I love it. I mean, I come from a theater and a performance background, so it's like this is the stuff I need to hear. And also, though, throughout my life, that's how I learn best, is from people that'll just give me this. They'll just be blunt and honest. They don't hold back because they're telling you the truth, and that's why I've always honored and admired people that were older than me, because they just,
well, they can see it. We can see it. We've been down the roads and we know different things and stuff like that, but again, I didn't know you had the content done, so there's like no. And there's Theron. Thank you, Theron, for being here.
And Lynn, I need to acknowledge you in front of everybody, that it was like, wow. I mean, to have Jerry on our call, and then for you to be talking to him and all that, I mean, it's just blowing my mind right now. That the care and the love and all of that. For me personally, versus talking about how this can help other people. So
yeah. Well, and again, you helping other people helps you.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
So that's why I said stop. When you started the show and you go rewind this and say, yeah, but I'm all in and nothing, and I've got to submerge myself and I can't see nothing. I'm like, stop that shit. I swear, no other course for you right now until you take care of this course. And the course is to finish up these books that you already have waiting to be published. I'm freaking excited to buy them. I'm serious. So
yeah, one more thing about this is that just by giving couples and wedding planners and whoever reads the book, whether or not they're getting married or any thoughts of it, it's giving them a new way to think about something.
Exactly.
That's the ultimate goal for me, is to give them a different viewpoint.
Absolutely.
That's
absolutely. It. And that's all the book has to be. But you'll be published. You'll be done.
Wow. Okay.
And you'll be complete.
Okay.
And I'm just super excited about that for you. Seriously.
Yeah. It's I'm glad I'm being called out now, because it's kind of like one of those items on a list. Right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's been several months, since I've done Ken's show.
Theron even said, you can do it. Shit, he's done it right now. He's at the piece of cake. He's at the key piece of cake. I'm serious. So I'm super excited for what's going to happen. I'm super excited, and I got to get my ass going. I'm going to publish some little journals and things here really soon. But I mean, I'm going to work on just a sketch of my story and do a short story of all that. And then, so by the end of the year, we'll both be published authors. How's that?
That's awesome.
It's inspired to be inspired. Absolutely.
In the whole realm of self-actualization, from Abraham Maslow, for me, when I was actually going through undergrad, my self-actualization from an education standpoint was always to have a master's degree, which I got last year, or the equivalent of it. And it's like, also though, it's like, to write a book, right? And I don't care if it doesn't sell. It's just that I did it.
It will. It will, and it's going to be done. And I'm telling you, by next month, you're going to have that book. It's going to, and once I show you the process of doing it, I'll be like, what number are you at? Because you're going to see how easy that is. You're going to see how easy the whole process is, and you're going to be like, wow.
Right.
So yeah, it's exciting.
From a psychological perspective, it's like just visualizing when I can hand somebody a copy of my book, and it's just like it's 100% true that it is instant credibility.
Yes.
I mean, you can hand somebody a business card. It doesn't mean they take you seriously, but like to go to the level of writing a book, and I have second guessed myself a lot. And is it going to be any good? Or anybody going to read it? And it's like, well, of course, that's all the stuff that gets in the way.
Yeah, that's none of your business. Your business is to write that book and let everybody else decide.
Right.
I even have friends that are crazy enough that they just they need to, like, I'll probably have to buy a book and just have you, like this lady, she needs to know authors and go get their autograph and have this book. Like, it's just people, like, there's collectors of people like that. They don't give a shit what it is. They just want the author. They want the book.
Right.
It truly is huge. And in Wisconsin, they're alone. Like a lot of little bookstores love having authors come in. Like, I'm serious.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you're on it. It's done. But you need to change this from action completion to end to destination. You started these writing books and you didn't finish them yet, right?
Right.
But it doesn't matter. You started. Now that you got the keys for the rest of it, isn't it great that you spent that time doing it?
Well, and you bring up such a good point, is that I don't know how many years it was when I started writing, and then all of a sudden I brought my graphic designer to create like a graphic for it that I could put the content on, right? So it's nice and professional. And it's like, just by you saying that, it's like I went through it wasn't work to me. It was an outpouring of just my passion and my desire to help people, right? But to elevate it to a level that can be brought to people, it'd be stupid not to, because then I'm doubting all the workings that I did.
Right.
In the moment, I'm just writing and putting stuff out and all the pieces come together, but to take it to the next level would be a disservice to not only myself, but everybody else.
So this is why I said it should not be, you worded this, and I'm rebuttaling the fact it's not all or nothing. It's all or something.
Yeah.
And something is what you've been doing all along.
Right.
And because you're doing something and you're taking it to the next level, you're quicker than, oh shit, I should start writing today.
Right.
So that's where I'm just trying to fix your mentality, and also realize, even though you beat yourself a lot, you shouldn't beat yourself up, because now you'll be able to be proud that you put your passion to paper and now it's coming to fruition. So it's all or something to a destination. And I'm going to change that right now, damn it.
Yeah, please do. So what does everybody think? It's I appreciate the time for everybody that's watching, in the most humblest way, that I'm on the hot seat and I love it. And it's
here we go. Oh no, sorry.
Yeah, all or something.
Yeah, and 100% or nothing. Well, I got to change that part too.
And I'm just blown away that, just by what transpired over the past, however long we've been on.
Okay, so again, it reads like this: all or something, 100% or something. See, action to completion or end of destination. He's been in action for completion, but he didn't finish completion till his destination. But because he took, and I'm going to tell this story for as long as I live, but the fact that he put his passion to paper, and from his passion to paper and not knowing what to do, it is this day, the day before my grandson turned 1, that now he's taking the next level of what his passion is to help others to get the material he thinks people should see and publishing it. Yeah. And that's because he took a little action. You see, there's so much to just starting it. If you need to let go, there's a time and place for everything, Brian. Yeah. And the time is now, and the time is and it's so great, because I've been seeing you all along and everything you're saying. I pull out of you the whole wedding thing always, and listening to your passion. I say, your passion's right there. And I'm glad Jerry's seen the way I've seen it too. And the fact that when I say, well, when you write your stuff, I got stuff, I'm like, why the hell isn't it published? I mean, dude, that's the freaking easiest part now. And it's so exciting for you to realize the something you did. It doesn't have to be an all to nothing the way you used to think. It's all to nothing, or it's not. No, now you can have a seed takes longer to plant. I mean, right. An avocado takes, before an avocado has any bit of really good avocados, they take about 10 years.
Oh my gosh.
10 years for that damn tree to be giving you the damn nice avocados. I mean, at least the ones in Florida. But the point I'm trying to get to is sometimes you just have to let it be. You got to trim the damn little rotten avocados that come down. I mean, like, and it's just, I'm excited. I'm excited the fact that you realize that you have something you've worked on all along, and now you're going to be the end of destination of creating that is within the.
Well, I'm going to review this. I'm going to review this video several times. I'm even going to save it. And you bring up a good point, or many good points, but the one that's top of mind is that when I was creating this content, I didn't care about who it would fit, who liked it, who didn't. I just did it.
Mm-hmm.
So then taking it to the next level, why am I standing in my own way that it's like, oh, to put stuff out on social or whatever, but it's like, oh, now there's a book. Now I'm adding, I'm making it this thing that is unattainable, right? Or, oh my God, what if a word is wrong? Or what if all of that nonsense,
And you know what I love about this is that you writing this book and publishing it, when we're talking, you say, well, Lynn, in my book, I wrote this part. People are going to want to be able to, they're going to want to know more. Now you're giving them the ability to listen and read more. You're giving them a gift to understand where Brian's thought comes from.
Yeah.
So it's a must have.
Yeah. And you're seeing something in me that, has been displaced, because obviously it's like to have people that are close to me, but maybe not in the industry, but know me well enough that there's not a lot of agreement for that. There's not a lot of agreement for people that, I don't know, it's like the conformity thing. And so when somebody speaks to a couple different disciplines that they all can use to look at something differently, the more that people are in the conformity or in the weeds about conformity, the less they stand out to look at anything else. And so I've never been that type of person. I'd rather be, in many different disciplines and anything that can help me with my development, So everything that's been said here today is, I'm going to review it again, but it's you're seeing things in me that I haven't saw in myself, or I did, and I just let them go.
I get that, but I wish I could quote what specific books they are, but there are certain books out there that are in a different, there's a story behind a book that you would think, why should I read this? Because it has a profound lesson.
Yep.
So who's to say who's going to gravitate to your message? Right. It might be somebody that's a school teacher. It might be somebody that's a therapist counselor that can see the marriage. Yeah. Like, you really don't know who's going to get what they're going to get out of that book. Right. But I wish I could quote some of the books. I got to go through my books, but there's certain books that had nothing to do with. One was about a butterfly. I can't even remember what book to say, but there's certain books that you would think, why read that? But when you learn the lesson, it's like, wow, I get it, And again, having our books out there, people will get the back end of why you and I are passionate, and why we rant, and why we play devil advocate with each other, and why we just love what we're doing,
Well, and you can't, people can't want something that doesn't exist.
Yeah, right. And
if the book doesn't exist, it's not like, there's people knocking on your door. Hey, would you create this? Because they don't know it's possible. They don't know that somebody would do that.
Well, Brian, the fact that you sit here, I could wring your neck sooner. I should have asked you that question when I'm saying, well, when you write this shit, you're like, no, Lynn, I have these books ready to go. What? You're waiting for a freaking cover? Like, are you freaking kidding me? This book can be published by next week. Seriously. Like, I even got a designer. I'm like, what? You got a designer for your book cover and you're publishing it? That's money sitting on the table. That's your resume. That's your dude. So
this experience has been I'm going to still process this throughout the day, because when I clicked on, I never knew that we were going to talk about this. But it's great. But it's also
for some reason,
it's also getting me to see something that I never thought I was good enough to do.
Yeah. Well, you guys, I see we have more viewers than we had earlier. You
Yeah.
missed the fact that Brian, this is the short end synopsis. Brian got his ass kicked with our friend Jerry, who came out and said, you know what? You should be putting that passion out to other people and publish your book. And he's got a books upon books, it sounds like, with the passion of the wedding industry and the wedding planning and caring about the person. And so we're pushing him to write that book, but we're also pushing him to be a coach for other wedding planners to be just as good as and passionate as Brian. So it's just an epiphany he's having, an aha moment he's having. And I'm going to be here every day to push him over the ledge and say, jump, jump.
Yeah.
So
this is what I needed, because every time I surface the conversation with the book, I just kind of shrug it, and kind of like if you look at a stack of paper, it's like I'll take that one at the top and just kind of put it in the center.
Brian, this is what I'm saying. All of that work, all of that story needs to be told. That people need to understand that when you had the passion to write, you wrote. You didn't do nothing else with it, but you wrote it.
Yeah.
And now is the time to just publish it, which is a piece of cake part.
Right.
So, like, granted, I don't know if you wrote a longhand, you're gonna have to get that shit, into
everything that I've did was all digitized, and even like with the colored graphics and stuff like that.
Okay, I don't even want to hear it. It's done. This shit needs to be done. He's gonna be published next week. I mean, this stuff is going to be done. I mean, we'll get you to the right direction of where you need to go. But again, this is what I'm saying. I've heard stories like this before where people took them years to write a book only because they were writing it, but they weren't finishing it. So the point is, all of us have stories. If you start writing them digitally, because if not, you're going to have to transpose later. just a little FYI, it's the doing little by little. Now, shit. I don't know how many volumes he's going to spew out on us. But damn, can you at least, like, this week we have the volume number 1. Next week, volume number 2. Don't kick our ass where we're so behind in buying those books. Right. Give us a little reprieve. But it's just exciting to say that it is 100% or something. You've got to do just something in that right direction. And because he's taken all that passion and time, it's going to be something, boy. It's going to be something awesome for everyone involved. Everyone involved.
Well, and when it comes to my view, is that it's just my view. If you don't agree with it, that's okay, but it's still my view, right?
Right.
And if I'm not making anybody wrong, but I'm just throwing something out there for you to consider. That's it.
Absolutely.
If you don't like it, that's okay, but then turn the page and look at the next thought.
Yep.
I just don't want to see brides, grooms, their parents, anybody that's a decision maker, anybody of influence, family members, guests, professionals, anybody that has any involvement in a wedding whatsoever, is that they have to settle. They have to settle for a wedding they don't know that they can have.
See, that's what you need to start out with. Okay. You need to say those things at the beginning. The intention of this book and the purpose of this book.
Okay.
And you also need to put that in the description. Definitely. Because that alone says, wow, that's amazing. We're running out of time here soon, Brian. But I'm going to say to you, Brian, so what did you get out of today's show, my friend?
Anything and everything. Let's just put it that way. I love this kind of thing because it and I'm not the least bit scared. I'm not the least bit nervous because it's how I'm wired, So, you have influenced me a lot, Jerry.
We have. Because he hopes we influence Brian for his future. Yes, we have.
Yeah.
He's got books in him, and his ass is going to have them published by next week. As long as I can help it.
These kinds of this honesty and this authenticity is things I thrive for. It's a part of my being, and I don't take it personal. I know it's what I need to do, but I also know it comes from love. I know it comes from people that care and disrupting that already always listening, disrupting that those blind spots.
And isn't it great that even though we practice this and we try to preach this, that we can call our own shit out and realize,
Absolutely.
well, that is an excuse. And that's what we did. We called your shit out today.
I'm glad.
And your excuses and said, stop. And I'm just glad Jerry came with it because
Thank you, Jerry. I'm truly grateful and honored for you.
I definitely was on that. I was being on that rant, and he came, like I'm telling you, like I wanted that reinforcement, and I'm glad he took time to come out here on the show. It's just, that's right. Time to jump. And he's there. He's definitely there. So I'm super excited. I'm
a very humble person, or at least I commit to be. So it's like to take an hour of the show for other people and to
no, this is for everyone. This is for everyone. This is for everyone, and it's for you to see what an awesome shining star you are. You are loved. You are backed by so many people, and now get off your ass and finish what you started. That's it.
I want to call my designer right after we get off the broadcast today.
All right. Well, it's time to say goodbye. So say goodbye to everybody.
Okay, everybody. I got my butt kicked today. Day number 4 of the Week of the Open Road is coming to an end. Join us tomorrow at 12 Central Standard Time, or whatever that is in your part of the world or country of the United States. And we'll be with Sherry Gideon for our guest co-host, all about improv. So everything we talked about over the past 4 days of the Week of the Open Road is fair game for quick-witted improv tomorrow. So join us tomorrow.
All right. Thanks. Bye.